Good morning, this is El Topping coming to you from Xtreme Exposures, live on the top of Loughrig Fell in the wonderful Lake District. It's a nice sunny day and I thought I'd do a video for you. So today, I think it's probably a milestone for most photographers, particularly those that are using platforms such as YouTube, to discover what I carry in my bag on a particular day in spring. That's important for a photo shoot. So today it's quite poignant to be able to do that because I'm on a shoot myself, or I'm recceing locations for a shoot later this afternoon, and so I thought I'd show you what it was that I was carrying, why I'm carrying it, and how it can be adapted to other situations, either for yourself or in different times of the year. Okay, so let's have a look. So as you can see, I've got everything that I've carried up here in one small 30-litre bag. Okay, and we'll come to the details of that in a minute. So let's start with the important part, the camera. So as you can see, I'm using a EOS 6D Mark II with a 24-70 Canon f2.8 lens on the front. That's my go-to portrait lens and pretty much my general use lens. It's the first one I go to pretty much for any shot that I'm taking, and then adapt from there. And basically that sees me for most of the shots that I'll end up taking on a shoot. I do carry other lenses, which we'll talk about in a second, but that is my main workhorse. Being outside, clearly you're going to get a lot of dust, maybe rain, sometimes sleet and other sort of debris falling from the sky perhaps. So cleaning is very important. I'll clean it before I take it out of the bag, or just after I've taken it out of the bag in the van. But then also I've got a sort of camera first aid kit just to be able to patch things up while I'm traveling. Down below I've got a battery pack just for my general sort of electronics, so that keeps my phone charged. There's also possibility of expanding this kit to include a battery charger for the camera batteries, but although I've got a camera battery grip on the bottom of this, hopefully you can see that, which does have a cartridge for 2 of the Canon batteries, I do still carry 2 extras just in case, because you never know. If this was a winter video, I'd probably be carrying more, and I'd also be putting those in something insulated to ensure that they stay warm throughout the cold weather. But on a nice warm spring day like today, there's not much need for that. In this little pouch here, there's nothing expensive, but it's got my spare cards. I've got space for 4. I've only got 2 in here at the moment because there's 1 in the cartridge in the camera already. These extra things here, well, they're just filters that I might carry for flash. So depending on the type of lighting that I might experience in an indoor setting, those are there. And to be honest, I rarely take them out, which is why you can still see them today. Okay, moving on. This is an L series 70-200, again 2.8 fixed aperture. I've not used it a great deal, to be fair. It does have image stabilization, and it's the Mark II variant. It's an awesome piece of kit, and if it does come out, guaranteed to get some crazy images out of it. Having said that, it's very expensive, it is heavy, and I have dropped it once, which cost me 500 quid to replace or to repair. So you've got to be careful. I carry it around in this bag, which is the case that the lens comes in when it's inside my bag. But then I also waterproof it in a dry bag. Okay. So now we move on to the other kit that I carry. As I say, this is for springtime. It is scalable, and you can either add more or reduce it depending on what you're doing. Clearly, the advice would be make sure you've got a base level of kit, which is probably what I've got here. If you're going into the mountains, you don't want to be without the right level of kit, and I'd say this sort of stuff here is probably a minimum for this time of year. So at the top, I've got a a Primaloft, I think it's Silver jacket. It is branded by Black Diamond. It's a very comfortable jacket, but it doesn't have to be branded. It doesn't have to be Primaloft. But something that keeps you nice and warm is a must, particularly if you're starting early. I mean, like this morning, it was 1 or 2 degrees when I started out in the valley, but soon took it off when I started climbing the hills. After that, I've got my Goretex. I do swap between Goretex and Paramo, depending on the situation. I like the lightweight of Goretex and the fact that it is a total barrier to whatever is going on outside. However, and this is the reason why I like the Paramo, is that if you're working hard and you're going uphill, you'll sweat inside your Goretex, and once you start sweating and it starts to bead, you're wet for the rest of the day. Whereas with your Paramo, you don't get that. You might get a little bit damp initially, after an hour or two, but when the rain stops, you soon dry out. Okay, and that's why I switch around. But on a day like today, I've got it as a contingency. I didn't want the extra weight of my Paramo, and so that's why that's there. On top, basic woolly hat, just something to keep the head warm, and then a pair of lightweight gloves. Again, not necessarily a necessity, but they're just in case, if somebody in your group hurts themselves, or if it's cold on the fingers while you're standing waiting for the right light conditions. That's why I've got those in there. And again, they don't take up much space, but they are a lifesaver if you ever need it. Okay, moving on, some other bits and bobs. I am a fan of walking poles. I've got dodgy knees, and that's why I like these. These are, again, Black Diamond. I think they're the Distance FLZs, that's it. They are carbon fibre poles. Great for just giving that extra bit of stability when you're going downhill, and light enough that you can take with you wherever you go. They're not bomb proof. I have snapped one before, and unfortunately they don't make spares, so you end up buying another pair. But as it happens, I now have a spare, so I'm all right for another trip. Some water, clearly wouldn't go anywhere without that. You can supplement that with stream water if you're going on bigger trips in particular times of the year. And I do tend to carry a lightweight packable bladder. Okay, this is a Hydrapac compressible bottle. It does have a good size opening at the top. It's got this nice sturdy loop on it, which is useful if you want to clip it to your harness or whatever else, and it compresses down to just this when there's nothing in it. Okay, so that's really great once you've expended everything that you've drunk out of it, or you just want to pack super light. Then I've got some food. Don't judge me. I love pizza, which is why I've got some cold pizza in the back. Okay, that's I'm sure every nutritionist will tell you that is the ideal food stay for a day on the mountains. A couple of boilies, things that when they're gone, there's hardly any sort of packaging or wrapping. But if I do have foods that have wrapping, I will absolutely take it with me, and not just put it in the bin when I get to the valley, but I'll take it with me and take it back to my own bin at home, dispose of it there. Some other things that are really good, packed down peanut butter. Okay, I'm not sure you'll be able to get much of this in these sorts of packs, but if you can squeeze some peanut butter out into a Ziploc bag, highly recommend that, just for giving you something to sort of eat when you're out on the hill. It might be dry as hell, but it's good food. Some sweets, tissues, you never know, you might need to use them, and then a bit of a small drink. Okay, just a bit of fruit and whatever else I can squeeze in there as well. That all goes in a nice little bag. It's not waterproof, but then everything inside there is pretty much waterproof anyway, barring the tissues. And there we go, that's that part. Last section now. So these are the things that will probably be the things that I'll turn to if it starts getting a bit juicy on the hill, and we need to either find out where we are or there's a bigger problem. So the first thing I've got is clearly a map. Okay, it is a printed map that I've got from an OS map subscription. Okay, I've done it like this because I wanted to be able to draw on it and write on it, and so what I've done is I've printed it out as best I can, one to one, but then hopefully you can see it. I've also marked the map okay, with areas that I'm particularly interested in for doing my shoots. On the back of it, however, I've also got my shot list, okay, so I can then take each of those photos that I'm interested in, okay, and I know that I need to take, and attribute it to one of these locations. Okay, so for instance, if I'm doing a portrait shot, I might be interested in, you know, a nice view. Okay, so I'll tag that on the other side, and then on this side I'll say, okay, well, I want to take, I'm looking for a particular portrait shot. All right, well, I'm going to do it here. Okay, and then I can build up a list of where I'm going throughout the day, what I'm going to take, and you know, plan my day quite efficiently. I'm using a permanent marker, okay, thin permanent marker, to be able to do that. They're really handy for also marking your routes when you're out in the hill, okay, because it doesn't wash off this this laminated piece of paper. But if you do want to take it off, then get some nail varnish remover. You know, you get them in little pads, and then you can wipe them off with that. Okay. Next, I've got a compass. Okay, I've checked it for bubbles. There are no bubbles. Yeah, as long as you've got a compass which has got a roamer which is suitable for the map that you're using, then that's great. Okay, always keep hold of that. Even though, okay, I know exactly where I'm going, and I know exactly where I am in relation to the ground. It's also useful for determining where south is on a particularly muggy day. Okay, maybe you're doing this for a shoot, you know, you're doing a recce for a shoot which is you know, not on the same day, and you're expecting the conditions to be different. Okay, you might need to know where the sun's going to come up and go down, so it's quite useful for that. And also, obviously, if you get lost or if you need to get to a particular place. Next is a phone cover. Okay, it's got a bit of Velcro on the top just to keep it as waterproof as it can. Absolute lifesaver. Okay, because if your phone dies and you're relying on your phone for your navigation, which I would always recommend having a map, obviously, but if you are doing that, this is clearly going to save you a few quid in replacing your phone. Next, I've got my my lightweight first aid kit. It is essentially a Ziploc bag with the important parts of what I think I might need. Okay, it's not going to treat broken arms. It's not going to treat you for concussion or, you know, injuries to head or anything like that. It is simply there as a stopgap for making your life a bit easier. Okay, so sun cream, if you get sun cream if the weather changes. I've also got some lip balm in there, okay, in a roll. Some zinc oxide tape for taping up for blisters, or if things, you know, I've taped up a girl's shoe on Crib Goch before with zinc oxide, because the sole of a shoe came apart, and if I didn't have it in a bag, she would have been in trouble, because, as I say, the entire sole on her shoe disappeared, and the two blokes that were with her were useless, and didn't even offer any support. So yeah, so that Ziploc, zinc oxide is really important, just as a general sort of aid to fixing stuff. Next I've got is this is vet bandage. Okay, let me help if I took it out of the bag to show you. Okay, so this is vet bandage. Okay, this is awesome stuff. So if you do hurt yourself, okay, this stuff is brilliant. It sticks to itself. It doesn't stick to hair, and it's stretchy. So when you wrap it around your body, okay, if you've cut your leg or something, you can wrap it around the body. It will soak up blood, and it will still maintain its form in shape. It's lightweight. Obviously it's not a massive roll, but it's good enough for, you know, as a stopgap for getting down the hill. And you can buy it on Amazon, as you can with most things. Yeah, vet bandage, awesome stuff. I've also got some paracetamol, some sort of, what do we call it? Some powdered drinks. Okay, this is fruity, sugary drink, just in case you're either absolutely shattered, dehydrated. Good stuff. It tastes all right. You don't want to drink too much of it in the day, but it's good stuff. I do have, what else have I got in there? A bit of Diarrhea just in case, you never know. And a bit of bandage, okay. In fact, that one's obviously bitten the dust in the bag over the years, and I'll need to replace it. And that's pretty much it for that. Okay, so it all goes in that Ziploc bag, stays at the bottom of my bag, and no matter what I do, I know I've got it. Speaking of which, other things that I always carry, regardless of the time of the day or the time of year. First of all, it's a head torch. Okay, charge the batteries overnight, put the lock on it so it doesn't go off in your bag, and then you're knackered if you haven't got light at the end of the day. And I get into the habit of putting that in because if I don't have it, because of lack of routine, or I've just taken it out or whatever, and I need it, I'm in trouble. Okay, your phone is pretty much useless when it comes to being out in the hill, particularly if you're in fog or heavy rain or snow or whatever, and you need a decent torch. So I get into the habit of putting that in, or keeping one in at least, and particularly in winter I'll put two in, because batteries will die in the cold. And that just stays there. Okay, so I know it's always there. Just like this. It's a super lightweight 2-man shelter. In fact, no, it's a 4-man shelter. This one's made by Superlight. There are others out there, but this, as you can see, fits in the palm of my hand. It weighs about, I don't know, 200-300 grams. And I've always got something, and it's good for rainy lunch stops. It's good for if there is a problem. And you need to get out of the wind or the rain or whatever, or if you need to change a layer, okay, and it's raining. It's a fantastic piece of kit. Always take it with you, whatever you do. Yeah, enough said. And then this is what it all packs into. It is a Arcteryx Alpha FL45, okay. It's 45 litres with the sort of expandable lid on the top, okay, but without it you're probably looking at about 35-30, okay. I'll put everything inside apart from my camera and my poles, which will go on the outside, and that is my go-to bag pretty much all the time for mountaineering. It's very lightweight, there's no frame in it, it's been battered, it's been dragged through mud, it's been scraped off the rocks. There is a hip belt. I've never used it, but I can't bring myself to cutting these off like some people do. The only thing I would say is after a bit of time you need to wash it, because these pads can get quite smelly, which is unfortunate, but when you're working hard in the hills, you're perspiring, and these things sort of soak up the sweat from your body. So yeah, it's useful to have you sort of have it a wash, or give it a wash every now and again. I do use a chest harness, okay, just to make sure it's nice and stable. But it also works with the harness on, so that's another reason for having it. There's one pocket at the front, okay, which is it's got this sort of waterproof zip on it. It's probably meant to be pretty waterproof, but I've had water ingress in there, so yeah, I do still waterproof my kit when it goes in, particularly if I know it's going to be raining or snowy. But yeah, all this kit goes inside, okay, and there's no issues. I've got plenty of space. There's a drawstring on the top to keep the flap in, okay. The flap sort of rolls down like a dry bag, and then you've got this bit of drawstring that goes over the top and cinches up, okay, and you can actually use that for carrying rope as well, or put a jacket on top if you are running out of space. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I carry. This is one of a number of videos I'm going to do, because this kit will change depending on the scenario, but it will also change depending on the season and the weather conditions that I can expect to be experiencing when I'm out on the mountain doing my job. So yeah, feel free to put your comments below. If you want to ask me questions, please do. I will try and put the detail of the kit that I've got there into the comments so you can see those too. And if you like what you hear and you like what you see, please feel free to press the subscribe button and ring that bell, and you'll get notifications of the next time that I upload a video to the Xtreme Exposures channel. Okay, have a nice day.